Right beside me is a 2025 Isuzu Mu-X LSE 4x4. Now at the moment, this is the newest, the most loaded, and the most expensive Isuzu you can buy. Well, in general, it's still one of the newest, one of the most loaded, and one of the most expensive 7-seater diesel SUVs on the market. Well, is it worth it? That's what we're gonna find out. Paulo Papa here from Zigwheels Philippines, and this is our review of the 2025 Isuzu Mu-X. Let's go. Now, as we mentioned earlier, this is the latest iteration of the SUV. That's why you can see Isuzu gave it an updated fascia. The grille has a honeycomb pattern with big holes, as well as a new sportier front bumper. For its headlights, they have LED technology, as well as the daytime running lights, and it also has a pair of LED front fog lamps. Striking also are its side vents here onto the cheek of the SUV, and according to the car maker, this is, or the design language is inspired by a jet fighter. Now, if you ask me, the new Isuzu Mu-X kind of reminds me of a muscular Miata, which we know is a cousin of the SUV because of a shared pickup truck platform. Now, let's go ahead and see what it has to offer onto the side. Now, its side profile is highlighted by a set of 20-inch wheels that are wrapped in 265 series highway tires. Now, these wheels share the same aggression level as the front. Kita nyo naman, it has plenty of sharp angles here and there. Now, reinforcing its 235mm ground clearance are a set of chunky step boards. Also, from this angle, I think this is the best place to appreciate the Eiger gray color of the SUV, which has been introduced in the facelifted model. Now, for those who are on the fence on getting a white colored SUV or a black colored SUV, maybe this is what you've been waiting for. You're getting the best of both worlds. Now, for me, the overall side profile of the new Isuzu Mu-X might not be as memorable as the front. So let's go ahead and check out its rear to see what it looks like. Now, more updates here at the back. As you can see, Isuzu has upgraded the lights or the taillights of the Mu-X. It now sports what they call an embraced line design. Funnily enough, the line is cut here, and I think it would have been better if they added a full LED light bar here at the back. Other features include the Isuzu emblem, the Mu-X nameplate, and the four-wheel drive badging, which is basically just the sure sign to tell people that you're driving the most expensive version of this SUV. I also like these repainted diffuser-like appointments here at the bottom, but overall, I believe the upgrades that we see here at the back are more tame compared to what we saw on the front. It might have been a missed opportunity for Isuzu to be the first in its class to put a light bar here at the back, since many of its competitors or owners of its competitors are already putting lighted up names at the back of their tailgates. No? Or maybe Isuzu just really understands its crowd or its market and believe that they're not yet ready for a light bar here at the back. Let's go ahead and find out if that kind of restraint extends inside. Right, so now we're inside the 2025 Isuzu Mu-X LSE 4x4. And we are faced with a leather-wrapped steering wheel. Of course, it has multifunctional controls. And then past that is the updated instrument cluster that has a 7-inch screen. Now, beside it is a 10-inch infotainment system, touchscreen controls, of course, and it has wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay. Now, I do appreciate that under that you have physical controls for the dual zone air conditioning system. And underneath that, because as we mentioned earlier, it's already using wireless technology, you have a wireless phone charger. Now, if you still need different ways to juice up your devices, you will find a USB port, or rather USB ports, down here, and a 12-volt socket. Now, onto the console, you have your shifter for the 6-speed automatic transmission. It has, by the way, a leather shift boot to probably blend well with the leather steering wheel. And There are buttons for the electronic parking brake and auto hold. You have your knob for the 4x4 function, the 4x4 system, and there's a button for the rough terrain mode. Now beside that, you will see that there is a blank space that's supposed to have the diff lock, and that feature is available not on the MIUX but on the D-Max. It's its pickup truck brother. Now, I don't know why Isuzu decided to omit that function, but maybe the SUV is being touted more as a family car. What do you think? Let us know in the comment section below. Now, moving on. You get soft touch materials here on the knees. You'll also find that here on the door cards. And the seats, of course, they're soft and plush because, well, they're leather. For the driver, it's power adjust and manual adjust for the front passenger. Speaking of manual features, it does have a manual lumbar support right here. It's not life-changing, but it's there if you need it. It's also easy to miss since I've already had the SUV for several days before I noticed that it was there. Overall, I like the black aesthetics of the cabin of the Isuzu MU-X because unlike other SUVs that have, the top tier or the top level having even orange and red trims, I think a black interior would age well. However, I wish they used less piano black materials because, as you know, these are fingerprint magnets. Also, the headliner is of a lighter color, so maybe that's a pro or a con. Let us know in the comment section below. And even though the Isuzu MU-X has several tech niceties like a wireless charger, ambient lighting, and 8 speakers, I believe it still has more room for improvement, especially in this price point. Maybe ventilated seats and power controls for both front passengers. Now here at the back, you have plenty of room here. You can see it's pretty spacious. And in a surprising move for future-proofing, Isuzu put in 2 USB-C ports right here. You also have your dedicated fan or your dedicated air conditioning vents with its own fan speed control. Now, the seats right here, they're pretty comfortable. They do recline, they don't slide because they tumble. Now this gives you easy access to the third row seats. So let's see how I fit in the third row. Yeah. Right, so as you can see, this is how I fit. And with the space, you can most likely sit your usual nephews and nieces here, the kids. Well, actually, you can fit 2 adults here at the back with some room to spare. And although this seems to be a generous space for a third row seating, I'd rather be driving. So let's go ahead and sit at the front. So right now we're driving the 2025 Isuzu MU-X LSE 4x4. And under its hood is a 3-liter turbocharged diesel engine mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission. So that setup produces around 187 horsepower with 450 Newton meters of torque. In terms of acceleration, it's pretty good. The direction of the power is pretty linear. So what do we mean by that? The power is not all the way at the top or at the bottom of the rev range. So let's say, for example, you're doing an overtake and you feel like you need more power. That can simply be resolved by stepping on the throttle. So bigyan mo lang ng gas and you'll feel na may hatak pa yan, may bibigay pa yan. And that's the advantage of a 3-liter turbocharged diesel engine, a larger displacement, is that you don't have to sacrifice power anywhere. You get it evenly distributed throughout the rev range. So with that said, the MU-X, the way you drive it is not like your typical car na merong eco mode, normal mode, and sport mode. You have to, or the driving is done basically by your right foot. For lack of better term, you somehow get that feeling of being one with the machine. Kasi you don't have the computers to either sharpen the acceleration for you or to dumb it down. So yes, wala kang drive modes. The only mode that you have and you can select are the 4x4 modes. And yes, you get that rough terrain mode, but basically that just turns it on and off. So this kind of gives it the characteristic of an analog car. So in terms of steering and handling, the MU-X feels a little heavy and sluggish. Probably because it's a hydraulic system and it's a 4x4 and I'm carrying more weight and the complexity of the system. However, the braking feels kind of light. Now to me, it's not to my liking or my preference kasi I want the braking to be more heavy. I want more feedback from the pedal. However, this already has disc brakes at the front and at the back, so you're pretty sure that you have sufficient stopping power. And that might just be my, my own personal preference. But how about you guys? Do you like a weightier pedal or a lighter pedal when it comes to braking? And yes, I might have said that the car feels sluggish and heavy, but I think that has something to do with the construction of the vehicle. So it gives me the impression that everything from the body, the chassis, the transmission, this is pretty solid. And that's a good thing, that's a positive thing for this vehicle. And that gives me the confidence, given that it is a 4x4 car and alam mo yung type that the car that can go anywhere, go almost anywhere. So, I think kahit dalin mo siya sa rough terrain, sa rough roads, it won't give up on you. But having a 3-liter diesel engine and a solid, weighty SUV come at a cost? Well, actually, no. The MU-X is pretty good because a mix of city driving and highway, but mostly city driving. We got 9.5 to 10 kilometers per liter, which is actually pretty decent. In terms of suspension, the Isuzu MU-X behaves pretty much like any other SUV. However, it fares better than the Toyota Fortuner, which everyone calls matagtag. And it will lose to the Ford Everest, which everyone calls soft. So you're kind of like in the middle ground, diba? It's not too stiff, like parang kailangan matibay, nor is it too soft na parang bibigay agad. So you're kind of like in the happy middle ground. In terms of safety, the Isuzu MU-X also offers a good list or a robust list of features and technologies. So you got adaptive cruise control, you have lane keeping assist, blind spot monitoring, you also have automatic braking, a 360-degree camera, and rear cross traffic alert. Plus, you get the usuals, which is a full set of airbags, traction control, and ABS. Okay, so now we talk about the price, right? The specific model, the Isuzu MU-X LSE 4x4 comes with a price tag of 2.67 million pesos, right? Now, if you're looking for something cheaper, then you might want to consider its 4x2 brother. It packs the same features, less the 4x4 system, right? And that's around 2.3 million pesos. Now, what I think is, let's say if you are a real Isuzu fan, a die-hard Isuzu fan, you might want to get this, the fully loaded version, because it's really gonna give you that, that solid driving feeling, the driving impression. So there you have it, our review of the 2025 Isuzu MU-X LSE 4x4. Now, if you're the one who's on the market for a reliable, dependable SUV, which is basically Isuzu in a nutshell, and you plan to keep it for a long time, why not go for the most expensive model? Compared to the 4x2 variant, that's only 300,000 difference. Now, in a span of 10 to 15 years, would you have regretted spending that 300,000 pesos, or would you have enjoyed using a 4x4 vehicle and knowing that you can resell it for a higher price? Or maybe mahal lang talaga siya? Let us know in the comment section below. This is Paulo Papa from Zigwheels Philippines. And before we end this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for the latest updates in the automotive industry. Until next time.